Guns, Germs, and Steel: The Fates of Human Society is a 1997 book by Jared Diamond, professor of geography and physiology at the University of California, Los Angeles. Pecha Kucha 20 by 20 is a simple presentation format where you show 20 images, each for 20 seconds. The images forward automatically and you talk along to the images. The presentation format was devised by Astrid Klein and Mark Deetham of Klein Deetham Architecture. Yali's question is, why do some people have more than others? Jared Diamond answers this question by food production, the environment, and technology, which is the inventions of the people in necessity. The seven themes are population patterns, economic networks and exchange, science, technology, and the environment, the haves and the have-nots, uses and abuses of power, expressing identity, spiritual life, and moral codes. The theory relationships are humans and the environment, humans and humans. Many kinds of factors can affect the population patterns. The weather, geographic features, soil, and political regions can be influential on the population patterns. Also, when humans directly planted and domesticated animals, it led to denser human populations by yielding more food than the hunter-gatherer lifestyle. The productivity and relative importance of the crop types varied considerably on different environments. Human population densities were lowest where it had poor soil and limited fresh water, also where it was too cool for some crops to grow. Also, limited amount of area available are effective on the people changed from hunter-gatherer style to domestication of animals. Because of this, people were able to produce more food. The population always moves into the place where they can be provided with food. Better nutrients equal more sex, which means more population. History is a kind of science which you study the human beings in a long way. Technology, in the form of weapons and transport, provides the direct means by which certain people have expanded their realms, conquered other people. Necessity, unfulfilled need, is the force of creating new technology. Development of science and technology for certain groups of people is highly going to affect the population patterns, because extreme advance for a group of people lets them dominate over other groups of people. For example, inventions of light bulbs, computers, trains, airplanes led certain people to have more power than other people. People develop different kinds of technology depending on the environments they live in. For instance, people living on highlands would develop their special technology to grow crops in high altitude lands. Ideas derived from necessity bring such a huge change to the humans. Even though it takes a little while for the invention to be suited for our need, there are certain areas in the world where the food production is far beyond and far beyond others. This is because of the natural environment, climate, soil, and such things are like this. People who are able to produce more food outlive the ones who couldn't. These kinds of inequalities can be due to irrigation, for example. Brilliant ideas really make a difference in a society. These ideas make people to have more or less in certain areas of the world. For example, because of the invention of electricity in North America, United States developed drastically, while other areas around the world didn't. Long time ago, food was the most important thing that determined the haves and the have-nots. Food is so important for humans and it is not divided equally around the world. But as time passed, technology became more important and it became the determination of the haves and have-nots. The example of Francisco Pizarro shows how the Europeans colonized the Native Americans instead of Native Americans colonizing the Europeans. We still do not know surely why the Europeans were the ones who invented the guns, ships, and steel swords. The perfect example of abuses of power these days would be Jong Il Kim. He would threaten the world peace by using nuclear weapons and other dangerous weapons. Even in the 21st century, he would keep the capitalism which helps him to keep the power of his country. Because the environment is so different all around, particular areas might have more advantages than certain areas. This will cause the prosperity of particular places, which will make powers unequal. This will generally lead to uses and abuses of power. A simple idea can also affect the uses and power of power. Besides justifying the transfer of wealth to kleptocrats, institutionalized religion brings two other important benefits to centralized societies. First, shared ideology or religion helps solve the problem of how unrelated individuals are to live together without killing each other, by providing them with a bond not based on kinship. Also, it gives people a motive other than genetic self-interest for sacrificing their lives on behalf of others. At the cost of a few society members who die in battle as soldiers, the whole society becomes much more effective at conquering other societies or resisting attacks. Religions vary greatly in their relation to technological innovation. Some branches of Judaism and Christianity are claimed to be especially compatible with it, while some branches of Islam, Hinduism, and Brahmanism may be especially incompatible with it. In conclusion, I figured out that all of the 7 themes are related to the environment, which includes the climate, soil, irrigation, geographic features. In addition, I found out the 7 themes were relevant to the intangible factors such as religions and politics. The 7 themes and the 3 relationships all sum up to answering Alice's question, why do some people have more than